Hello, Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising. Welcome to my channel. It is such a blessing to be here with you, so thank you for being here with me for your January 2024 Tarotscope. I am so grateful for the opportunity to connect with you. In the description box below, you will find links to information on personal readings, the Soul Good membership channel on Telegram, and ways to support the work I do here if you would like to explore any of those options. You will also find a timestamp if you would like to jump to the start of your reading. Please do keep in mind that this is a collective reading, not a personal reading, so use your discernment and take only what resonates with you. If you find that something shared does resonate, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment below, and or share this content, as it tells YouTube that there may be something valuable here for someone else, which is a gift to both this channel's and to others as well, and I greatly appreciate that support. January kicks off 2024, a number 8 year, encouraging us to step into our personal power, to have faith in our own abilities and use them to their highest potential. These are some of the things we're going to be looking into for this month's Tarotscope, taking a peek at your overall energy for the month, what new level of power and inner strength is being ignited from within you, what's gaining momentum for you this month, and getting some advice or messages to best support and serve you and your journey moving forward. If you have been on my channel before, this month's reading may look a little bit different. I will be using only oracle cards for this month's Tarotscope. I do have tarot out in case I need a bit of clarity, but I really do enjoy using oracle, and it's something I do on my membership channel often. So let's dive in, Virgo, and see what January is bringing for you. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Christ, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, tell us, please, about the overall energy of January 2024 for Virgo. Tell us, please, about the overall energy of January 2024. Oh, good golly. In my hand. Do you have a lot going on, Virgo? What's up? Okay, let's see. What new level of power and inner strength is being ignited from within Virgo this month, please? Okay, thank you. That one as well. What's gaining momentum? All right, thank you. Yep, okay, those there. Thank you. And can we please have some advice or messages that will best, thank you, support and serve Virgo and their journey moving forward? Okay. I'm actually going to do that again. Can we please have, thank you. Yes, that's much better. Okay. Yeah, all right. Clearly a lot going on for you. So the overall energy for you, Virgo, for January 2024, we do have here flexible, the number 19. I get this feeling that maybe things haven't been going the way that you would like them to. You know, Virgo, here's the thing. From what I know of Virgo, and I have had several wonderful Virgos in my life, you know, there is this kind of order that seems to be favorable for you. And I feel as though there may have been this wanting things to have a certain order, but I feel like through the month of January, I feel like there's going to be this need, which goes without saying, to be very flexible, to be willing to just kind of go with the flow a bit. Um, it does feel interestingly. So I just had this word duality come through. I feel like for whatever reason, there's almost this experiencing like opposite ends of the spectrum of whatever it is you're going through, right? So you may want things to go one way and it's like the complete opposite. Or, maybe things are kind of like flip flopping back and forth between different ends of the spectrum. And I feel like this is meant to help you to be more flowy. Now, I feel like some of you are going to be cringy about this because I feel like that's not something that is very welcomed. I feel like that can be very uncomfortable. And it feels like this is trying to kind of loosen you up a bit. I don't know. I feel like you may have even heard people say to you at some point, like, will you just loosen up? Like, will you just loosen up a bit? Um, so I feel, whatever's taking place, it's meant to be showing you how to move through that discomfort, move through the disorder, move through things not going the way that you would like them to, and learning how to navigate that versus becoming incredibly overwhelmed or bogged down by it. Does that make sense? So, and this is the number 19, which of course reduces to 10. And I'm getting two things with that. One, the end of a cycle. Okay, right? Moving forward from certain ways of being, certain ways of doing things, and then a new beginning. I do feel like there's potential waiting for you should you allow yourself to be flexible, should you allow yourself to be able to navigate these things and practice this kind of non-resistance, which again, I feel like some of you are like cringy about because that lack of control is very uncomfortable. But again, I feel like there's, opportunity and potential on the other side of that because you're in this state of non-resistance and are more flowing, which, think of it like a river. When you are just flowing, it's going to take you to your destination. Okay. Whereas if you're resisting, you're going to struggle the whole way. Right. And even if you don't know what that destination may be, and even if it looks something different than what you had anticipated or would have hoped for, it doesn't mean it's wrong for you. A lot of times we think we know better. And the fact of the matter is, there's a lot of times that we don't because we're operating from our lower egoic drives, from our trauma, our wounding, our programming. And God is kind of up here, maybe you call it source, universe, whatever, I call it God, is up here like, hey, you think you want to be here, but it's your trauma and your wounding and your programming and all of these things, where you've kind of boxed yourself in and that's what you think you need to be doing. Really, though, if you could see yourself as I see you, free from those restrictions, from those limitations, from that wounding, that trauma, those lower egoic drives, where you really want to be as a pure soul is here. Okay, so that's where this energy is coming in, I feel. And if you look on the card here, this, person or this being is on top of this egg, which is telling me, I feel like it's really speaking to that potential for opportunity, right? And just it relying on or being, what is the word I'm looking for, please? Yes, thank you. Dependent on your ability to be flexible. Okay. Oh, yes, we do have here milk and honey. This is the number 51, pardon me. Again, like I was saying, I feel like that ability to be flexible is going to take you to where life is going to feel sweetest for you, and not just feel it from a very kind of fleeting sense. Certainly, this is a collective reading, so it's going to look differently for everyone. Everyone has their own definition of, life being sweet, what that might look like. But I feel as though there is this, again, kind of being flexible, taking you to where you're going to find this fulfillment, like true joy, true satisfaction, where life feels colorful and full of flavor and robust and exciting, right? Where you're enthusiastic about it, where it's nourishing and nurturing, okay? Where you're just kind of bathing in this, glory that life has to offer. Again, and I want to be very clear, I'm not saying that by the end of January, you're just going to be all, everything's going to be glorious. Okay. These things do take time, but I feel as though, the more willing you are to be flexible, which is kind of where this ball is starting to get rolling in January, the more likely you are to ultimately find yourself at a place, however long that may take, where you do feel fulfilled, where you do feel more excited about life. Okay. It's like getting to that somewhere over the rainbow type of place. Number 51 reduces to 6, which of course is, an energy of harmony and healing, but it's also an energy of cooperation and alignment and adjustment, which is what I feel is going on here. Right? I feel like whatever it is you're facing, where things are kind of, going from one end of the spectrum to another, or things feel very uncomfortable, it is trying to work with you, even if it feels challenging, work with you to bring you to a place where things feel more harmonious, where things feel more in alignment for you on a deep soul level. Okay? So trying to take you to the land of milk and honey, right? I mean, I do feel like there are obstacles, certainly. But, the more flexible you are, the less heavy or challenging those obstacles are going to feel. Yeah, we do have here the number 29, breathe. Yeah, I feel like this is one of those things, like it really does feel like just breathing through and just flowing through whatever it is you're facing. Okay. There's yes, thank you. So I just got this word, like overthinking. I feel like for some of you there's this anxiety, this overthinking energy, this holy crap, I don't have control type of thing, right? Virgo, sometimes you guys have the tendency to pay attention, excessive attention, to details that maybe aren't as significant as we would perceive them to be. And there can be this kind of perfectionist type of energy about you at times. And I feel like it's like, listen, if you can just breathe and not get all caught up in your mind and not get all caught up in the heaviness of things, and allow God to move you through the situations, being very flexible and open and flowing with whatever is in front of you and breathing through it versus being on edge and like white knuckling things, I feel like things are going to be a lot easier. I'm not saying they're going to be easy, but I feel like they're going to be a lot easier, and you're being asked to just kind of come back to your center, to come back into your body and just move through it. Okay, and I know that's so much easier said than done. There are ways to go about this. Certainly breath work can help. I'm sure there are videos all over YouTube about this, and probably on other platforms as well. But practicing some breath work, perhaps meditating, getting very quiet, letting go of whatever thoughts are plaguing your mind, letting go of some of the anxiety and letting those actual solutions come in, I feel like is going to be very beneficial. And it's interesting because, 29 reduces to 11, which 11 can be this, first of all, I mean, it's ones, first of all, which you've already had show up here with flexible, reducing 19 to, yeah, 19 to 10, and then, 10 ultimately reducing to 1. So you're having this number show up more than once. And ones can be this epiphany kind of energy. It can be this, new information coming in, this breakthrough that happens, which provides new opportunity and, leading you to potential new beginnings. So again, letting those things come in, right? Getting some moments of silence, some solitude, letting God really speak to you, or whatever you may refer to it as, letting it speak to you and letting it provide for you solutions that you can't see yourself. Okay? Because oftentimes when we're face to face with something, we can't see around it, above it, we're too close to it. And when we just kind of step back and say, all right, Lord, I don't know what the heck's going on here. You show me where I'm supposed to be going, right? We can have these solutions come in that we ourselves have not been able to perceive. Okay? So what new level of power and inner strength is being ignited from within you? We do have the hero or heroine in the upright or light attribute position. Passion for a journey of self-empowerment. Yeah, I feel like this, I feel like the way that this is unfolding is to ignite that, truly, that authority that you have over your own life, even in the midst of challenge, even in the midst of, one extreme to the next, or being very overwhelmed, right? Having these mountains to climb. I feel like even in those, I feel like this is being orchestrated for you to show you that even in those moments, you are still the one who's in control, right? And if you are someone who kind of has experienced, folding under that pressure, under that discomfort, under, that lack of control, I feel like this is meant to be building you up, right? To truly show you how powerful you are, how strong you truly are, right? That things don't have to be going a certain way or a way that you envision them in order for you to be in a place of power. You determine that. Your external circumstances do not determine your power, right? And so I feel like this is why this is unfolding the way it is. We do have Midas or Miser also in the upright or light attribute position. Entrepreneurial or creative ability to turn anything into gold, delight in sharing life's riches. Yeah, so, I feel like, interestingly, I feel like this is really speaking to, again, the power that you have in any given moment, however chaotic that may be, to find peace, to find beauty, to find, how do I say this? Even enthusiasm or happiness. Certainly it's more challenging. Certainly. But it's not it is our choice. It is our choice. We have control over our reality. We are co-creators of our own reality. And if we are sitting around like this situation is god awful, that's what it's going to be. That's how we're going to experience it. You are literally telling your brain to do that, to show that to you, and to keep pointing it out to you, right? But if we stand in, I am a creator of my own reality, and me, not these things out here, but I get to decide how I experience this, how this impacts me. That is turning anything into gold, right? And you may have experienced this with people outside of yourself, some of you, where, all of this craziness can be happening in their life or in the world, and they're just like, yeah, whatever. you know, it's because they have that like alchemist ability to take whatever given situation, realize that they are the one in control, and make it whatever they want. Okay, so I feel like this is what is being ignited within you in order to show you that you are in the driver's seat, essentially. It's pretty powerful. Pretty powerful. I mean, it's a pretty powerful setup, honestly. Um, you do have here the slave in the reverse or shadow attribute position, giving your will. Come on. Come on, Virgo. Like I've been saying, giving your willpower to an external authority out of fear of making your own choices. Now, certainly, there is, how do I say this? I feel like for you, Virgo, you would rather make the choice and then that be what it is. Does that make sense? Like having that control over, this is what it is, this is how it's going to unfold, this is what the result is going to be. So I feel like that's more applicable than having it be out of fear of making your own choices. I don't think that you necessarily fear making your own choices. Certainly that could be the case for some. After all, it is a collective reading. But in the light attribute position, it says, surrendering your power of choice to the divine with complete trust. And this is what I feel is happening. We've been getting that energy even before we got into this section of the reading. Okay, so the level of power and strength that's being ignited within you, I feel, is that co-cooperative relationship. Or let me back up a bit. How powerful you truly feel. And some may, I feel like some outside of this who have never experienced it for themselves may perceive this differently. But those who are in the know, if you will, those who have experienced it for themselves, realize how much power one receives or feels when they are in a co-creative relationship with the divine. There's a certain level of freedom, but it's very empowering because you realize that you are the co-creator, and you realize upon experiencing it for yourself how much God truly does love and care for its children. And even if we're experiencing things that are, turbulent, traumatic, whatever it is, these things are happening and unfolding for us to evolve and grow. So, for example, there are parents who out there will understand what I'm saying when, you have a child who's constantly trying to touch the hot stove. Okay? And I'm not saying that parents are like, oh yeah, go ahead, give yourself third-degree burns. But it's like you have to let the child realize that it's hot before they'll be like, oh, I don't want to touch that. Right? Similarly, God moves in a way that's similar to that, right? Where we experience things that we don't necessarily want to. They don't feel good to us, but they are for us. They do help us to evolve. They do help us to discern good from evil, or good from bad, or what we do want versus what we don't want. And if everything was just hunky-dory all the time, we would never evolve. We would just stay the same. So, I feel like if you allow, what is being ignited from within you is the power that comes not only from discovering the power that you hold as a co-creator of your reality, but also the power that can be for lack of better terms, thrust upon you when you enter a co-creative relationship with the divine, and you are an active participant of creating your reality. And when you are in alignment and you allow yourself to flow with what God is bringing to you, and you move with that, you surrender and give complete trust, it has this impact, which may sound to someone who has never experienced it as if it wouldn't empower you, but it does. It truly, truly does. Again, because I feel like it's different than the power dynamics that we've experienced as a society, right? Because we've experienced these power dynamics where it's like, I have control and you don't even like what the outcome is. It's not for you. The outcome's not for you. It's for whoever's in power. Okay? Whereas when you enter that relationship with God, God is working on your behalf. Right? Where God is leading you is to a place that is best for you, even if you do not yet see it yourself. Right? So again, coming back now, this shadow here, giving your willpower to an external authority. That could be a multitude of things, but any external situation, experience, whether that be chaos, whatever it is, I feel like this is trying to get you to a point where you take that power back, ultimately. And with here, this flowing energy, it's you guys, there's a freedom to it. And again, I know that there are those of you who are like super cringy about this because it's surrendering that control. But there is a freedom in that surrender. I know it may seem very counterintuitive, but it is. I have experienced this for myself. Okay? So, I feel like it's taking that power back and learning how to be in a co-creative relationship with the divine, which is bringing this new level of power and inner strength for you. Oh, we also have here for you the priest in the upright or light attribute position, facilitates spiritual commitments, serves as a channel of spiritual energy. Now, I'm just going to be real here. A lot of the energy that I've been picking up on in my membership channel has been very focused on being of service, right? On behalf of God, being of service to the collective, to humanity. And this is very, very much in alignment with Pluto in Aquarius and also Aquarius season. Okay. So Pluto in Aquarius, Pluto ultimately, once it settles in November later this year, it will be there for, I think, until 2043, 44, somewhere around there. So, that 20-year long period is going to be focused on being of service. Aquarian energy is very Aquarius energy is very humanitarian. It is very focused on, community and what you can provide as an individual to that larger group, right? To the collective, what you on a micro can provide for the macro in some sense. So I do feel that a lot of people are going to be finding themselves being placed in situations or experiences or having certain epiphanies or ahas that are connected to being of service. Not everyone, of course, but for you, Virgo, I feel like this new level that is being ignited from within you is that deep connection with spirit, with God. Again, whatever you refer to it as, which is really, I really do feel like God is just trying to bring people closer to have that deep relationship, regardless. And I feel like how this is unfolding for you is trying to put you into a position where ultimately you are being of service to humanity on behalf of God, and through your own strengths, your own skills, your own talents, your own gifts. And for some of you, perhaps you are a channel, like an actual channel, right? That certainly doesn't have to apply to everyone, but I just feel, God is trying to position many, many people in certain places where their gifts and talents and skills and wisdom can be utilized to benefit not only themselves, but also the collective as a whole. So I feel like, ultimately, all that is unfolding for you is to end up positioning you there, right? To be of service. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I really took kind of like the long way round with that one, but I hope it makes sense. All right, Virgo. So what is gaining momentum for you? Just say yes. I feel like this is speaking to that being more flexible, being more open, going with the flow, saying yes to God, following your intuition, following those divine callings, those higher callings. Not, how do I say, yes, thank you, surrendering control. Okay, I feel like this is what is gaining momentum for you this month, because I really feel as though here on this card there are three beings on this card. The number 3 represents growth, and it also represents groups and expression. And I feel like what's gaining momentum for you, all that we've just been discussing, is to put you in a place where you are expressing your gifts and talent. Let me back up. Where you are growing into your own strengths, recognizing them within yourself, expressing your talents, gifts, skills, wisdom in order to have impact on larger groups of people. Now, I'm not saying that this has to be millions or thousands or even hundreds, but just people outside of yourself, your community, your circle, your family, right? To have impacts on the people around you. So, I feel like this ability to go with that flow, to just allow things to unfold, to trust, to surrender, to relinquish that control, and to just go with it, having faith, I feel is what is gaining momentum for you. And to say yes to yourself at the end of the day, Virgo, because, again, a lot of times we think we know better. I thought I knew better. I know many people who thought that they knew better. And then once you start down this path of trusting the divine, trusting God, surrendering and healing and getting underneath the layers of the programming and the trauma and the wounding and all of the just the facade that we've believed to be who we are, once you get underneath that, you start to realize, oh, wait a minute, I actually didn't know better. So really saying yes to God is saying yes to yourself. Saying yes to aligning with your truth, with what will really fulfill you and bring you joy. Even if, again, you cannot yet see it yourself. I would have never, if you would have asked me 10, 6, 7 years ago, if I would have been doing this, I would have laughed at you. I'd never once had any kind of oracle tarot reading ever. I never picked up a deck. I didn't even know anything about it, really. Like, the most I knew was seeing Miss Cleo on the frickin' infomercials late at night, okay? So we think we know. And our path isn't always what we've believed it would be, because we're operating from those lower egoic drives. So it's saying yes to yourself. Yeah, we have leap, you go first, the universe will catch you. I mean, come on now. Come on now. This is, akin for me to the Fool in the tarot, which, the Fool in the tarot is who he is, and he's in the position he's in because he has faith in something that no one else understands. No one else seems to get. And people think he's freaking crazy, but really, he's kind of like, I'm crazy enough to do it. I'm crazy enough to trust in this thing that I feel within me, this thing that I know within myself. And I'm willing to take that leap, even if people are laughing at me, even if people think I'm crazy, it doesn't matter. Because I know that there's something better. There's something that somewhere else that I need to be. Right? So, what's gaining momentum for you? Trusting in the universe, trusting in God, trusting in your path, even if you don't yet know or understand what that is, and surrendering to it. Finding the courage, the faith, the strength to take that leap, to say yes to yourself, to say yes to God, to say yes to a path that is unknown to you, but better for you. We also have here, soul family, call in your tribe. You don't have to do it alone. So this is kind of making me chuckle, because a lot of these cards, here there's one being, right? One character in them. And then as we move, we have 2 here with the hero card, 2 here with the Midas card, 2 here with the priest card, 3 here with the yes card. There's 2 here in the leap, and now 2 here in the soul family. Because here's the thing, my dear Virgos, I feel like you have been trying to play Atlas. You've been trying to carry all the things, okay? And I'm not saying you're doing it 100 solo. I'm not saying you don't have a person, or that you don't have family, or you don't have friends, or anything like that. What I'm saying is, I feel like there's a certain level of yourself, or there are certain things, or certain thought processes, or feelings, or what have you, that you've just been carrying the load on your own. And I feel like God is coming through to say, you don't have to do it yourself. Really, you haven't been doing it yourself, because you're never truly alone. We all have at least one guardian angel with us at all times. Christ resides within us. The angelic hierarchies reside within us. God resides within us. We're never, ever, ever, ever doing it alone. But I feel like you've been doing it alone, or you have felt like you're like, I'm a lone wolf. I got this. I'm just gonna do the things. Kind of like cutting that connection off with God. Right? Maybe you're somebody who doesn't pray. Maybe you don't even believe in God. Shoot, I don't know. Right? But the thing of it is like, you don't have to do it alone. Right? God is with you, helping you to climb those mountains. God is with you, helping you to turn, that lead into gold. Those crap situations into better ones, if you allow it to work through you and work with you. God is behind you, supporting you every step of the way. God will never, ever, ever turn its back on you, regardless of how far you stray from it. And I feel like what's gaining momentum for you is the realization that, hey, I'm actually not carrying the weight of the world on my own. Actually, God is here with me, helping me to hold it up. I've just been rejecting God's love. And we've all done it. I've done it. I've done it. Okay? Many of us have. Certainly, there are some who are more spiritually advanced, okay, who maybe haven't experienced this to such a great degree. But where we are in our development, in our initiation, like we're kind of far from spirit. We feel like we're disconnected because we're deeply entrenched in matter. And so we aren't as aware of how close we are actually to God, to spirit, as we have been in previous stages of our development. This is something, if you're somebody who like wants to know the structure or the order, which I know is a word you probably love, Virgo, Gigi Young's work is amazing for this. It really, really is. She has a channel here on YouTube where she dives into the spiritual science and structure of our evolution. Okay? A lot of her work is based on anthroposophy, Rudolf Steiner's work. So that's another great resource if that's something you want to look into. But, again, I really feel that what is gaining momentum for you is this understanding that you are not doing this alone. You don't, you're not doing it alone, but you don't have to feel like you're alone either. That also is a choice. So, you can ask for help. Hey, angels, I'm a little stressed right now. Hey, God, I could really use some direction, right? All right, let's take a look at the advice and the messages to best support and serve you and your journey moving forward. Change and transition. Archangel Azrael. Thank you, Azrael, for leading me safely through this change. Yeah. I mean, this is really speaking to, hey, look, you're not doing this alone. Should you decide to embark on this, journey of the unknown, right? Should you decide to surrender and be flexible and allow God to take you where God needs you, where God knows you are going to be most fulfilled, where you're going to be most joyous, know that you're not doing it alone. Azrael is the angel of death and rebirth, taking you from one place to another. And certainly this has been coming through, right? So this is a period of transition for you. And again, you're not doing that alone. I am getting fear, coming up. So I do feel, that you're certainly likely to face discomfort and challenge and fear, because it is a transition from one way to another, from one place to another, right? It is death and rebirth, and it always brings fear, always. Okay, and I'm not telling you to not to not feel fear, that it's wrong to feel fear, but we can move forward, we can progress, we can, continue in the face of it. We can say, okay, I see the fear, I'm scared out of my freaking mind right now, but I'm going to keep going anyways, because I'm not doing this alone, right? And I'm trusting God to take me to exactly where I'm meant to be, and I'm trusting that I will be provided for. I'm trusting that if I trust God, God is not going to leave me high and dry. God is not going to leave me stranded, right? So again, you don't have to do it alone. You have support, angelic support, right? Oh, yes, look at that. You have also Archangel Jeremiel. Thank you, Jeremiel, for helping me to understand the process of forgiveness. So the miracle of forgiveness, it feels to me, Virgo, like and this is, I mean, I feel like this is probably true for just about everyone to some degree or another. Um, so I feel like you may have found yourself in situations where you have given trust, where you have maybe surrendered, or, maybe there was something that you were telling yourself, this doesn't feel right, but you went ahead with it anyways, or you felt fear, but you went ahead with it anyways, and somehow found yourself, hurt or pained or, betrayed or something, where someone maybe did leave you high and dry. Maybe that's something that you have, even a phrase you've even used in your own experience. It's not something that I would typically say. So it's kind of interesting to me that that word would, or that phrase would come through. Um, but I feel like this is one of those times where I feel like you're being asked to forgive yourself, okay, for not honoring yourself, for not trusting yourself. And perhaps you are in a position now where it's almost this fear of trusting um, anything that doesn't seem to be within the confines of your control. That's a pretty specific. So it may be a specific message for someone, but it feels like you guys. I've certainly done this in my own life. I know people who have done this as well, right? Where kind of went against what we perceived to be our better judgment, and we were burned, right? But that doesn't mean that every time that we have something come up within ourselves where we don't have control, that doesn't mean that we're going to get burned every time, right? It gives us the ability to be more discerning. Those things, those sorts of experiences teach us to be discerning. Is this my intuition, or am I operating from fear or trauma or wounding, programming? Because I know certainly, at least a good example of this in my own experience is where, that's kind of this whole programming of like family over everything, and showing up for my family, for members of my family again and again and again, and then feeling betrayed. I mean, I'm not saying this is your story, certainly, but that's kind of how some of these things can manifest. And we have to be able to forgive ourselves for not being discerning, for not trusting our intuition. And every time that we've felt something within our intuition and we've ignored it or denied it or went against it, we have dishonored ourselves. And through dishonoring ourselves, we've taught ourselves that we cannot trust our intuition, that we cannot trust, something that we can't tangibly see and control. And I hope that makes sense. If you've been there, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about, right? So again, I feel like the advice here is to find forgiveness for yourself. Or if you are somebody who has experienced something traumatic within the spiritual world, okay, this could have something to do with dogmatic religion, with church, with members of a church hierarchy, whatever it is, something that you've experienced, some kind of trauma or wounding or pain around religion or spirituality. There's also, I feel like, forgiveness needed there. Okay. And not that I'm, passing judgment on or criticizing anybody who aligns with church or, dogmatic religion. It is what it is. Your choice is yours. It's your story, not mine. Okay. I, however, do not operate from that place. For example, I don't believe that God punishes us. I don't believe that. I believe that God loves us so freaking much that God will put us in situations that are really challenging and really, really hard because A, He knows that we can get through it. if we choose to. And B, the whole point is for us to evolve and grow. And what father, like true father, does not want its child to grow and evolve, to become strong, to recognize their own potential, right? So take what resonates with you, please. Leave the rest. But I do feel like this is either some kind of forgiveness of self, or perhaps others, where you felt betrayed, where you felt, you something has caused you to feel as though you cannot just surrender. Or perhaps forgiveness in some way, shape, or form in whatever connection you may have had with spiritual things. Okay? That's pretty deep. That's pretty deep. Okay, what else do we have here? Spiritual abundance. Thank you, angels, for blessing me with infinite abundance. Yeah, so, it's really interesting because I feel as though there's two things coming through here. One being that the advice or message that's going to best support and serve you moving forward in your journey is that there's abundance everywhere. There truly, truly is abundance everywhere if you choose to see it. Right? That's part of being a co-creator of your own reality. You can choose to see lack. You can choose to see the absence of, fill in the blank. Or you can choose to seek out abundance. You can choose to, for example, people will look around and say, the world is terrible, everybody's terrible. No, no, that's not true. If you choose to look for the good, you will find it. If you choose to look for the bad, you will find it. Because what you seek is seeking you. And you program your brain, you create neural pathways in your brain that will seek out what you tell yourself. And your mind is incredibly powerful in that way. So that's the first part of this. The second part of this is that I feel like how do I say this? This abundance that I feel is available to you. I'm not saying that you are just automatically going to experience it, like it's just going to show up like Amazon at your doorstep. But if you choose to align yourself, I feel as though there are levels of abundance that will, there's abundance that will find you in ways that you least expect. For example, like I was sharing earlier, when you surrender to God and you trust, there's a certain level of freedom that comes with that. There is a level of empowerment that comes with that. And it does, once you experience it for yourself, it does make you feel incredibly abundant, even if you don't have a lot physically, materially, financially. You have this certain abundance you're carrying within you that people who perceive things purely from a literal, material, physical place will not understand. They won't. And I feel like this is available to you. If you look at the card here, she has her hands like, look what I have. Certainly the way that this is being delivered is through, you can see the coins there in her hands, but I don't necessarily feel as though this is going to show up to you in a material way. It could. I'm not, counting that out, but I feel like it's more likely that you will experience that abundance within yourself, inside of yourself, through that empowerment, through that strength, through that courage, through that connection, through that understanding that you are a co-creator. Okay? This has been incredible for you, Virgo. I mean, really, I truly feel that, this month God is really trying to orchestrate things in your life to put you in a position where you are much more fulfilled, feel much more abundant, where you are like experiencing ultimately, and I'm not, again, not saying this is going to happen overnight or by the end of the month, but ultimately feeling more joyous, right? Enthusiastic about life, seeing the color in the world, gaining this new, yes, thank you, this renewed excitement for life. And I think that's beautiful. Truly, truly beautiful. So that is what I have for you, Virgo, for the month of January 2024. I pray that something here has resonated or been valuable for you in some way, shape, or form as you navigate your month and beyond. Thank you so very much for being here. I'm so grateful for your time, your energy, and your attention. I'm grateful for the support. Thank you for liking if this resonated with you or commenting below. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, and thank you for sharing this if you feel called to do so. Have an incredible month wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Take care of your co-creative, powerful, strong, divine soul. Peace be with you and within you, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye.